Maybe she's real strict about etiquette during meetings?
The same girl who openly teases you is worried about etiquette?
Okay, well...
I guess that conversation about Sayori was interesting too, since Monika was staring at you the whole time.
Oh my god, is she fucking... No. What?
Then, when she heard you mention Sayori, she looked annoyed. Less furious and more inconceived. More inconvinced. Inconvenienced. I don't know why I can't talk right now. I'm just so into this right now. I'm thinking too much. Like when you set up dominoes and someone knocks them over before you do.
That's an oddly specific example.
It's the most fitting. Do you know of a better way to describe that sort of childish annoyance?
Not off the top of my head, no. Yuri's words feel sharp. She's cutting me with each retort. Makes answering her questions difficult. Just like earlier, there's no anger in her voice. It makes the entire experience feel very surreal.
She interests me and worries me at the same time. I feel as if I'm being played and don't even know it.
You seem to think Monika's some sort of Machiavellian schemer. I've been able to say that every other time, but I can't say that right now. Also, is it... Yuri, she was just trying to set you up with MC. It's okay. Wingman Monika scares Yuri. Yuri, it's okay. She was just trying to set you guys up. I feel like you're just looking too deep into this. It's okay, Yuri. Scary wingman.
I do. Is that odd?
No. Actually, I think it's oddly in character for her. I do too.
Mm-hmm. For some reason, I feel as if she's really good at that sort of subtle manipulation. Perhaps just the feeling that she gives away.
She obviously is. Monika is good at manipulation.
Or perhaps it's because she's so insistent about faking it that I can't help but wonder where the boundary of reality and illusion lies.
Faking it?
Her personality. I don't think Natsuki and Sayori have noticed it, but you can tell how empty her mannerisms are sometimes. It's like she's smiling out of courtesy or some sort of tactical move, rather than using them to express any real emotion. It's very unsettling how consistent she is with motions. But that means each of her smiles look the exact same, which make it very obvious that she's faking it. I'm sure most people would notice by paying enough attention.
Yeah, Monika's definitely going through something like behind the scenes. She's definitely like secretly really sad or something. There's definitely something going on with her. Cause like because it's like, I feel like it's like a Sayori type persona. Like I feel like it's like there's definitely something going on where Monika doesn't actually feel happy, but she's just pretending to be happy. Well, there goes a small bit of pride I had at being perceptive.
I suppose I can't chastise her too much, though. It's not as if she's some special case. It's natural to find it hard to be honest with yourself, so everyone's playing an act to some extent. Monika just happens to be especially good at using her mask.
That's also fair. A mask, huh?
You know, one of those personalities people put around others, personas, to use Jungian terms.
I know what you meant. I just didn't... I shut myself up before I got ahead of myself. Luckily, Yuri didn't seem to be paying attention.
People use them all the time, be it to impress someone or just to feel a sense of belonging. The mask is an armor one casts around their true selves. If everyone knew what I'm really like, they'd hate me. Thoughts like that are why everyone tries so hard at their acts, even if they don't particularly care for the other party. When the alternative is ostracism, of course people will jump at the easiest way to have some sense of security. Monika's just someone whose mask happened to make her popular. So I can't blame her. In fact, I kind of admire it. Someone like me isn't capable of something that amazing.
Something about Yuri's praise of Monika doesn't sit right with me. A dissatisfied feeling settles in my chest upon hearing such a nonchalant acceptance. Could it be because MC's mask isn't as good? Because I feel like that's what he was about to talk about. Because he was like, I know what you meant. Of course you know what she means, because you wear one too! And the familiar frustration eats away at me slowly. Yuri finally seems to remember my presence, staring at me like she had before.
What about you?
Huh?
What do you think?
My question is ambiguous. I consider responding, but hesitate. Maybe because I don't feel comfortable sharing, or maybe because I was still thinking about me and Sayori's conversation from earlier. Regardless of the reason, I keep my mouth shut. I find my eyes wandering to my feet and pretend to watch the subtle movements of the grass.
I see. I was hoping we could be a bit more honest with each other.
And there it is. MC, fucking passive aggressive, a phrase with no passive aggression. Seems to say that line almost mostly to herself.
If I'm feeling a little nervous, I must be. Secretary?
Huh? Yuri sighs and lowers her hand slowly into the space between her legs, retrieving the object previously hidden to me. Its metallic lining shines a ray of light into my eyes, keeping me from seeing the object for a second longer.
Excuse me for this.
As my eyes adjusted, I feel a pit form in the bottom of my stomach. I found myself unable to look away, unable to think, unable to speak. All I could do was wallow in the uncomfortable emotion that surged throughout my body. As I fought to regain control of my body, an iconic sound emanated from Yuri's hand. Watching Yuri raise the lighter to the underside of the object, rather the idea of a word. I felt as if I was on the verge of recollection, but didn't want to make the final connection. I could remember the feeling. Finally returned to me, the world purpose is horrifying, disgusting, unnerving, terrifying, dreadful, disillusionment. You ever wonder what it feels like to die? How awful and scary it must feel? What sort of thoughts would run through your panicked mind as it desperately denies its own demise? In my opinion, the closest feeling you can experience to death while alive is disillusionment. Yeah, this familiar word for a familiar scenario. The same feeling that pierces your heart as you watch a cute kitten feast and tear into a dead rat. The same hopelessness that overtakes you as you become suddenly conscious of your own inevitable demise. The same sadness that fills you the first time your little sibling, once always eager for your attention, glares at you for the first time. The same sadness that overwhelms you as your former lover holds the hands of another, blushing timidly the whole while. In that moment, you die. The you that had once wandered through life, oblivious to whatever horrible circumstances befell the current you. They are dead. And you are all that remains of them, the husk, something emptier than what it was before. But the key difference between disillusionment and death is that you have to keep living. It's not a final frenzy of your mind for survival, but another part of being alive. There's no escape from the dread of your mind, no peaceful slumber or deafening void, no nirvana or hell. Just another day, waiting for you to wake up and face it. You know what's harder than giving up? Trying again. So what's harder than dying? Waking up tomorrow. Silence falls on this tiny room of ours. I'm sure Yuri thinks nothing of it. She's too focused on other things. Me, though, I can only focus on the putrid smell that sticks to me. It's the sort of smell that make anyone turn around reflexively. I try to mentally connect it to a multitude of things, but each fails to capture its potency. I glance towards Yuri just in time to watch her lower the object from her mouth and expel a puff of smoke from between her lips. This object, a pipe of sorts, seems to be almost entirely metal. The shiny trim runs along in a bizarre but satisfying pattern. It instills as much wonder in me as it goes disgust. Oh, she was high. I think Yuri's high now. Holding the pipe just below her mouth, Yuri waits a moment before lifting it back up and taking in another cloud. I open my mouth to vocally confirm with her the contents of the object, but find it incredibly hard to speak. Some part of me refuses to acknowledge the situation playing out before me. If I were to ask her and she were to answer, it all becomes too real for me to handle, too vivid a memory for me to forget. I direct my frustration towards her. A surge of negative thoughts and hostile remarks, built up over years of holding myself back, threatens to burst forth. But I remain silent. Yuri glances at me again. In the time since she pulled the pipe out, she's done this a multitude of times. Most likely, she's trying to gauge my reaction. She seems to recognize my disdain for the object. Not being completely inconsiderate, Yuri turns herself, and consequently the pipe, away from me. takes another puff before resting it above her thigh, trapped between an index and middle finger.
That's an intense stare you're giving me. It's very judgmental.
This is something that deserves a level of scrutiny, isn't it?
I suppose it is. I'm sorry if I offended you.
If you're really sorry, you'd stop altogether right now.
That's sort of difficult, considering...
I know.
Fair enough.
Yuri remains emotionless. Despite my responses, her eyes seem emptier than before. In the moments that follow, nothing is said between us. Yuri and I simply stare forward, watching the trees sway in the gentle breeze while the cheers of the track team play a subtle melody. At some point, Yuri had pulled her lighter out again and played with its latch lid in one of her hands. She snaps it open and closed it in a repetitive pattern that seemed to harmonize with the wind. I disagree.
Why's that?
I think the way you view things is wrong. In fact, I find your viewpoint frustrating. I decided to answer her question. For what reason? I'm not sure. Perhaps since I had thrown away any respect I had for Yuri previously, I found it easier to open that lid that contained my true thoughts. Or maybe I'd been looking for an outlet the whole time. So basically, MC was just like, I can't be true with her because I like Yuri. Then he saw Yuri smoked and was like, that's it, I don't like her anymore. Yuri, you know what? You know what I always felt? Who knows? Who cares? Yuri stares silently at me, waiting for an elaboration. I consider staying silent to not give her the satisfaction, but the aforementioned lid of my thoughts was already unscrewed. And with it came a torrent of thoughts that rushed to the front of my head. The image of picking a scab came to mind. I hate idols.
I'm sorry?
You know, pop idols. The girls you'd see on TV dancing to upbeat music while wearing elaborate clothing that covers everything but her legs. For some reason, people think I'm the sort of guy to be obsessed with those sorts of girls. But in actuality, I hate them. I can't handle the dishonesty in their personalities. How calculated and corporate each article of clothing is. Imagining how many times they've practiced that plastic smile sends a shiver down my spine. Most people would be able to get over themselves, but I can't. Even with people, they hate dishonesty. That's why I disagree. Can't take being lied to in such a big way. To me, people are just liars. Frauds trying to deceive everyone around them into loving some person who couldn't even be compared to their real self. What's the point in making friends if you're going to hide behind a fake personality? The bonds you'll create are superficial. People only love you for those you pretend to be, not who you actually are. If you read that level of desperation, you're better off just playing dating sims to fill the void of human affection. And yet, no one seems to mind this. We all go about our lives having chosen to simply ignore our ingenuine relationships. We go on as compulsive liars, stringing our webs larger and larger until one day we can no longer recognize ourselves in the mirror. At that moment, they'll reach up to pull off the mask, only to find it composed of skin. People like Monica, whose performance has granted them a seat of the social hierarchy, can't stand. That's normal, right? It's how the world is. Everyone's a liar, so it's okay, right? I try to say more, but can't. My mind's too busy with activity to form a coherent stream of consciousness. All at once, multiple tangents fight for priority in my head. The whole while, Yuri stares at me with some emotion that I can't. Of course, it's disappointment. Yuri doesn't respond, probably trying to take in everything I've said. I decided to probe her myself. Why'd you show me this part of yourself? This is something you'd only tell your closest friends about, especially considering that it's... I need to finish that sentence.
It wasn't something I planned on. The circumstances just lined up.
How so?
I was coming down, so I came back here to smoke some more. Then you showed up and distracted me. I remember near the end of our conversation because I could feel feel myself becoming more nervous.
That's much simpler than you lead me to believe. Plus, it doesn't even explain why you did it in front of me.
It just made sense in the moment, although that's probably because I'm addled.
Obviously, dumbass. Yuri seemed a little hurt. Good.
You're much more pure than I thought you'd be.
Pure?
The way you view things, there's a level of immaturity in it, but it comes off as a form of purity to me. It reminds me of some sort of observation a child would make.
I don't want to be insulted by the girl lighting up behind a school.
Maybe I don't have room to judge, but I think you're misguided about something regardless.
That being?
The idea that you'd want to be fully open with someone. Ignoring the fact that such honesty is seen as uncomfortable. Sure, by wearing a mask, you're only creating a bond between a fake version of yourself and a fake version of someone else. But isn't that for the better? It might seem nice, in principle, to be fully honest with someone else, but in practice it hardly ever works out. By being close with someone, you end up hurting each other as you're exposed to each other's true nature. Time and time again, you'll find yourself disgusted or even confused by their thought process, by their actions, by their words. And it'll only continue to happen until one of you decide to end the relationship. I'm sure you've heard this before, but humans are like porcupines in the snow. The world is cold, unforgiving, so we huddle close for warmth, but remain a certain distance apart. Because getting any closer will only hurt the both of us as we prick the others with our spines. Just like right now. But I don't believe you truly think that way, Secretary. I think you're just trying to think of an excuse for yourself.
An excuse for what?
For the way you think, for you always carry that sour expression. Did you know, even as you glare at me with such intensity, you don't come off angry. You come off as cautious.
Yuri emphasized the sentence by taking another drag from her pipe. Sure, come off as humorous as if you had already struck a nerve within me.
Huh? You're always staring at the club members as if they're trying to pierce a hole into their deepest thoughts. You're trying to pierce a hole into their deepest thoughts. You don't even relax around Sayori, despite knowing her for years. It's almost like you're terrified of something unexpected happening. You're trying to analyze each part of someone in anticipation for that moment.
Yuri's words seemed to coil firmly around my neck.
In the whole 2 weeks you spent in that club, I never seen you relax. You're always on guard, always waiting.
And as she continued, they squeezed tighter and tighter until air could no longer escape from my mouth. Yuri shifts herself closer to me. I try to shift myself back, but find the wall pressing against me.
One thing you said gave it all away, Secretary. Most people are able to get over themselves. If you truly felt the way you say you do, why would you start off your explanation with that? When you say something like that, it's almost as if you're judging yourself, like you know what you're about to say is wrong.
She leans forward, filling my vision. I try to avoid eye contact, but her gaze seems to follow me wherever I look.
Unnerving, isn't it?
Because my entire face is being evaluated and picked apart. Like Yuri's looking for the crack in my armor.
Being stared at with such intensity makes you feel guilty, even if your conscience was previously clear. You start running through all the small things that bother you about yourself as you scurry to try and hide whatever it is that they see. But in reality, aren't you the guilty one for looking at others like that?
I squeeze myself against the wall, trying to find and create any space between me and Yuri.
Something interests me about you. Why are you this way? Some people are just wary, but no one's this cynical and paranoid naturally. Something happened to you.
You're wrong. I've always been this way. Is what I want to say. The words can't escape the flood of guilt my brain is experiencing. Exactly. Finally. Explain yourself, Mr. Hypocrite. There's nothing I can say to escape. The longer she stares at me, the wider I can feel her tear me apart. Her slender fingers are gripping into me, tearing layer of my defenses, until she's lunging forward and piercing my very being. Until she'll lunge forward and pierce my very being.
I wonder what it was.
Place a hand on Yuri's shoulder. I inhale sharply. The wound closes. I'm done here. I resort to the most cowardly, the most effective weapon in my arsenal, and excuse myself from the conversation. As I stand up and slowly walk away from Yuri, I'm going to make various excuses to myself. Basically, MC does exactly what he criticizes other people for. Yeah, the MC's a hypocrite, which I like. It's interesting. It's a character flaw, and it's an interesting one because we're in his head. So it's a big character flaw. I knew this MC was a hypocrite and a coward. Yeah, he is. That's why he can't stand other people. He can't stand other people because it reminds them of him. Because it reminds him of what he's doing. Yeah, but let's say, yeah, he wants to run away, basically. He gets mad at other people for not being real and talking about how I don't like idols because I don't like how they're not real with themselves. But it's like, he's not real with himself either. Like,
I'm back now.
He's basically sitting here talking about how he doesn't like idols and stuff, but it's like the real reason why he doesn't like them isn't because they're not true to themselves. It's because they remind him of him. Remind him of how he's not true to himself.
Yeah.
And like he says, he's trying to walk, and Yuri's basically trying to tell him that. And Yuri's basically trying to say, like, well, people always being true to themselves isn't exactly a good thing either. People always being honest isn't really something that can always happen. Or like say with the two porcupines. You get close, but then you get too close, and they'll prick themselves.
Yeah.
Sometimes being a little dishonest is needed. Right before I turn the corner, I stop. A sudden question pops into my mind, and I turn back to Yuri. I know she won't tell me the truth, but her reaction and discomfort is good enough for me. Something happened to me that made me the way I am, right? No one's the way they are naturally. We're all victims of a fate thrust upon us. So, that means the same is true for you, right? Doesn't say anything, instead turning slightly to the side, avoiding my gaze entirely. Following her eyes, I find that she's staring intensely at her bag, or maybe something inside of it that I can't see from here. She slowly parts her lips to speak, but closes them soon after. Coward. I wonder which one of us I'm talking about exactly. Yuri! Yuri's voice slices through the air, hammering in the nail for this conversation. Totally forgot about her. Probably been tearing up the school looking for Yuri. Yuri tenses up when she recognizes the source of the voice and frantically looks around, trying to come up with a way to hide the smoke and smell. The desire to stand and idly wait for Yuri to be caught jumps up to the forefront of my mind. However, a persistent, quiet voice in the back of my mind begs for me to listen. I make my way toward the source of the voice. So as I turn the second corner, Yuri immediately fills my vision.
Ah! You scared me!
Yuri jumps back as we narrowly avoid running into each other. Sorry. Oh, I forgot to text you earlier, but I found Yuri.
Really? Oh, really?
Oh, I didn't make her English.
Really? Really? Where was she? I was pretty sure I looked through the entire school.
That was weird. British Sayori.
Yeah, it was a little weird.
She was... It's not like I can tell her the truth. Would it be a good alibi for both me and her? She was near the entrance, thinking she left her bag behind in one of her classes. I caught her right before she was about to give up and go home.
Then why are you over here? And why do you smell so...
Yuri steps closer to me and takes a sniff. Hey, don't sniff me! I'm backing into a corner. I've already given a fake story about Yuri. It's not like I can retract that and tell her the truth without exposing anything. On top of that, how the hell am I supposed to explain the smell? My frantically attempts to conjure up some story, and I'm on the verge of conceding the truth when an idea comes to mind. It turns out that Yuri lost her water bottle again. But she couldn't stay much longer to look for it. So I offered to grab it for her if I found it. Apparently she came back during lunch to eat, so I checked it out. But it was filled with a bunch of kids smoking.
Oh. You didn't get beat up or anything, right? Here, those guys can get a bit aggressive.
Nothing like that. They're actually pretty kind, just shy. So shy that they might have trouble talking to women, so let's get home, alright?
Oh, okay.
Suri seems a bit overwhelmed by my story, but it does get her to start walking away. At that time, Suri's phone buzzes and she pulls it out to respond.
Oh! Yuri says she found her bottle in her bag, and says sorry for asking you to look around for it.
Tell her it's no problem. Now let's get home. I'm exhausted after running around the school.
Alrighty.
Thank God Yuri was close enough to hear. I could have saved myself the trouble if I just let her deal with it. Probably wouldn't have been able to think of a convincing story, though. Hell, what direct the stuff seems to make her. Probably tell Sayori straight out. Maybe that would have been for the better.
Wait, if she had his number the whole time, why didn't, he just text her about the bag in the beginning?
No, she has Sayori's... No, Yuri has Sayori's number.
Oh, I thought it was in his phone.
No, Sayori's phone.
Okay.
MC seems to look at the flaws of others, but secretly knows of his own flaws. He seems to use these flaws as excuses to stay away from others, and he seems to despise them as well. Yuri has managed to see past his negativity and knew how to pierce his defenses. This is quite interesting. Exactly. That's literally exactly how it is. It's that MC is very judgmental of other people, but obviously it's because because he's very judgmental of himself. He just uses it as a... He doesn't like looking at other people's problems because it reminds him of himself. In a way, that was kind of Natsuki's problem in the base game when you really think about it. Just MC's a little bit more. It's similar, but it's not the same. They're similar, but they're not entirely the same. Like, it's slightly similar, obviously, with MC being a little bit more different. Also, thank you for the $3, Dexter. I came here for funny, Zero. I left with existential dread and depression, and now I need to think about my past and what I've done. Have a good night. No, this isn't like... It's really not that deep, guys. It really just... If anyone's feeling existential in the chat, or in the thing... Basically, all they're saying is, sometimes it's okay not to be fully honest with people. That's really all it is. Because sometimes being fully honest can hurt.
Yeah.
That's really all it is. It's like sometimes being fully honest can end up being bad. So sometimes it's okay to lie.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Well, not even lie. Just sometimes it's okay to not tell people everything.
Yeah, to withhold information.
Sometimes it's okay to withhold information.
Unless the information's important.
Unless it's important information. Sometimes it's okay to withhold some things.
If it's personal, then obviously you don't have to tell people.
Yeah, there's some things that sometimes you do just gotta put on a mask. It depends on the person. It depends on the person and the situation, obviously. That's just what it is. That's really all it is. Hey, for a fat girl, you don't sweat that much. Want to go out? See? Like that. But I don't know. Obviously, if someone's overweight, you do kind of have to tell them. That's the time where I feel like the truth does kind of have to happen. Some people do have to know that.
You gotta wait first. You gotta wait for them to
That's one of those things where withholding the truth can be dangerous.
Yeah.
Today's after-school chat is about as normal as ever, which means it's also extremely forgettable. So just like most conversations, each topic goes in one ear and out the other the minute later. Doubt they're always placing too much weight into these discussions, though. As their characters to rattle off about something I have no knowledge of, I'd take a moment to think about Yuri. I'd definitely categorize her as someone I like speaking to, but after just now, I can't help but feel my opinion of her as muddied. No, actually, I definitely think worse of her now. I told you. Also, I just want to say, remember? Someone better pick up that phone. Because I fucking called it. I said he was gonna find a way to fuck things up with Yuri. I told you. You better pick up that phone, goddammit. I was like, oh, he's totally gonna mess up stuff with Yuri. Technically, Yuri fucked up with him. Not necessarily, no, it was MC. Because he didn't want to accept Yuri fucking smoking. That's literally what it was. He was like, well, you smoke? I hate you now. Instead of just being like, well, Yuri, we can get through this. Like, yeah, I was like, yeah, he just instantly, he's instantly judgmental. And like even Yuri said, it was like, you're pretty pure. Which is funny, because obviously, as we know, MC isn't pure, but he likes to pretend he's pure. Because again, that's MC's mask he just put on in front of Yuri. That's one of his many ones. He's gonna put on his pure mask, but we know he's not pure.
Yeah.
The man just doesn't like people smoking. MC's pure, but not that pure. Yeah, basically. Hey, Sayori. Found out something terrible about me. Would you be able to look past it? No matter what. Are you finally coming out as a lolicon? I'm so proud of you. It's okay. We'll get through this together. Go to hell. Sayori giggles at her own joke before taking a moment to think about my question. I'm pretty sure she already has her answer. She's just putting on a show. I'm sure it'd be hard if it was something really bad. But I like to think I could. We're friends, so I'll judge a little, though. I see. Sayori stares at me inquisitively, finally asking for an explanation. I expected an answer like that. Sayori is probably the only person who could say something so kind-hearted and actually mean it. However, Standing so close to such a blinding ray of light casts a shadow on what I can't reach. And so I can't help but feel frustration with myself. If only I had been so selfish and placed Yuri on some kind of pedestal, then I wouldn't have to deal with these feelings of disenchantment. The two of us would be able to talk like we always do. But now, all I'm left with is a bitter taste and a horrible smell on my uniform. If only I could be as understanding as Sayori. If only. We got like $1. Also, can we take a moment to talk about the short, beautiful visual sequence? Good shit, bug. Forward Momentum for best mod. I still think it's A tier, but yeah, it's pretty good. Because, I mean, yeah. I mean, it was just an MP4 put in Rempi, but yeah, it's still really good. Me knowing how to code really made a lot of the stuff really made it, like, hard to really, like, appreciate a lot of things.
Wow, Zero, thanks!
Or it's like when you figure out other ways to do things, it makes it really hard to, like, be appreciative of things. It's still really cool, obviously.
No, yeah.
I coded that in Rempi. I mean, that's also cool, too, but it's also, like...
Really?
If someone,
Damn.
It's also, that's cool, too, but it's also, like... If someone had Vegas, they could just use an MP4.
Yeah,
like, it's like... And get the exact same effect. Like, that's what I'm saying.
But...
Yeah, it's like, you can get the exact same effect. See, it's not hard, it's just tedious. See, I'm always with work smarter, not harder. So I would do the MP4.
Yeah.
Why would you, though? Did you guys know that Blue Skies' credit sequence is an MP4?
Yeah, it's like, because there's no real reason to do it.
It's like, as long as you get the same effect, just work harder.
Yeah, if it's literally like...
I mean, just work smarter.
Would you rather spend 10 hours coding all of that, or spend 15 minutes making a video and it looks exactly the same and nothing is changed about it?
Like I said, yes, it was cool. Like, I'm not trying to sit here and act like it wasn't. I was just saying, I was like, when it comes down to it, it's like, yeah, it's really cool. But how my personal philosophy is, if I can find a way to do it and get the same result, but it's easier, I'm gonna do the easier one. Because, again, I want to work smarter, not harder. What's the point of me sitting here slaving over getting something done when I can get the exact same effect and really fast with this? Because then it gives me time to do other things.
Yeah.
But again, really cool.
Yeah. It's cool that he coded it, though.
It's cool he coded it, yeah. It's just like, but when someone's playing the mod, the only time people are gonna do that is they open up the mod themselves and look into it.
Yeah. It's like, oh, he coded that? Yeah.
I let out a deep sigh. Sayori, I'm gonna go get some ice cream. Wait, really? Yeah, I got some money left, and I'm in the mood for something sweet. Alright, come on! Whoa, calm down! Sarah grabs my wrist and starts dragging me towards the nearest vendor. No, we have to hurry and get there before the kids get out of school! They'll steal all the strawberry! Of course, that's what's got you motivated. Huh. The sun's already starting to set. But yeah. So, I do find it interesting because there was something, there was something else was brought up. Oh, yeah, right. Because, yeah, I was like, it's like, yeah, I do like that the MC actually has he's a flawed person. Like, okay, so now we're gonna skip this. I know this probably has better, this is a better feeling for, but we already read this before. So, editing 0, put it in again for last time.
Cut it out from the last video, put it back in again.
Meanwhile, you guys at the stream just get to see me do that. Oh man, that was a good one, editing 0. Am I right, stream? It was
that was really deep.
Yeah, look, there's Yuri.
Oh my god, look, it's Yuri.
Look, it's Yuri. That was really deep, am I right, guys?
Other characters appear on there?
No, Yuri appears on there because we know that she smokes the banyan.
Oh. We found her deepest secret. I thought the 6th thing would have been like the last thing of this whole mod, but I guess not.
Yeah.
I guess there's like
well,
10.
let me give the big old feelings on Forward Momentum. Pretty good. I like it. Really good mod.
Yeah.
Slight, I guess let's say the only problem, like I said, is that MC can be a little too self-deppy sometimes, to the point where he kind of can get a little annoying. But yeah, overall it's pretty good. I think that was really only my only real gripe, I guess, was that MC got a little too, it can be a little too annoying. when it comes to deprecating. Yeah, I definitely would say it's an A tier. Yeah, it's definitely probably an A tier. Would definitely consider it. Because what? Because what's on my A tier? I would definitely consider around those types of mods.
A tier. Your A tier is like, I don't remember.
Well, no, I remember what I remember. I can remember what things are. Pretty sure like
I thought you were like asking.
pretty sure like relapse and stuff was in my A tier. It's like relapse, good ending act, and then good endings demos in A tier. Yeah, I'd say it's A tier. The 4 stories there. Yeah, it's a pretty good mod. Pretty good. Fun fact: consider letting you name the MC like normal, but yeah, it's just, that's fair. See, this is what I don't like about my chat, because everyone's like, no, it's S. But then meanwhile, again, everyone's like, Zero, you're too nice to mods. But meanwhile, fucking, when I'm actually critical, everyone wants to make mods higher than what I actually think they are. Like, no, I think it's an A tier.
Like, no, you should put an S tier, and the other half's like, man, why'd you put an S tier?
Like, guys, I've said this before. S tier is for mods that, like, really blow me away. Like, I'm not saying Forward Momentum isn't good, but it didn't really blow me away. It's just a good mod. A tier is still good.
A tier is very good.
I don't know why people act like A tier. I don't know why people act like A tier is, like, needed. Why do I get paired up? It's okay, Elvis. Obviously, I'm not talking about you if you didn't say S tier. If you didn't say it, then obviously I'm not talking about you. But yeah, I'm like, S tier is like things that really make me go like, whoa, you know? I was like, this didn't make me do that, but again, mods don't gotta make me do that. That's not a requirement. I'm not requiring these mods always to blow me away. They can just be good. Which this mod is. But yeah, that is it. I hope you all enjoyed. If you want to download this yourself, wait, Bug is saying, I want to keep the idea of you having to see the world through his eyes, so I gave him a title, so you still have to give the false impression that, so you still give you the false impression, just another generic MC. See, the funny thing is, I find it kind of odd, because I know a lot of people are saying that he's very, very relatable to them. The weird thing is, I wasn't relatable. I wasn't related with him. I don't know. That was like a little weird. I mean, now, I could see his relatable moments. Also, thank you for the party of 3 raid, Cerberus. I appreciate it. But, but yeah, you kind of did at the end of the mod. I couldn't really relate to any of, like, his struggles, but I can see why a lot of people could relate to him. He is still a very relatable MC. But yeah, I personally couldn't really relate with him. But that was just obviously me. But I can see why a lot of other people could relate to him, because I do know there are some people who are probably like that. He's sort of a bastardization of nihilistic people. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, he's definitely, if anything, I feel like, because I was about to say, I feel like, because I like that you gave him a title, because it makes him feel like his own character. And I kind of like that more than him supposed to be me, you know? Like, I like that he's kind of his own character instead of it supposed to be me, because he doesn't feel relatable. So I feel like it works better because he's more of like you said, a bastardization. So it's like, I feel like it works considering that he just has a title. Because, like, no one can really relate to a bastardization that much. I mean, some people probably, there's parts of him that you can relate to, but you can't entirely relate to him. And I feel like it works because it's like, well, yeah, you're gonna relate to a guy named Secretary? Like, it's good. Like I said, he's his own character, and I like that. It worked out very well. Are there any more episodes being planned? 6 more. So there's gonna be 12 episodes of the mod. Okay. So yeah. For now, yes, I'd say for now, this is Ryler 4. This is the first half. First half of Forward Momentum is finished. And yeah, basically. Once more things come out, then yeah. It's like a season of an anime. Yeah, season 1 is over. Season 2 will come whenever the hell. Season 2 comes in winter. It's the winter mods. If animes have like seasonal animes, where's the seasonal DDLC mods, huh? But yeah, that is it. Hope you guys enjoyed. I think those are all my thoughts. I'll probably give more of my thoughts when I go jump to the tier list video, but I feel like I don't even know if that will happen. I'll give more of my thoughts. Next time might not be Blue Skies. I actually do kind of want to do a tier list. I want to update the tier list next time because there are some updates we have to actually go through. Because I've actually been writing it down on a notepad, actually, on what things can be changed on how many mods I've played recently since we've updated the tier list. And yeah, there's a good amount of stuff we can talk about. Because recently we have played Blue Skies, we can rate Blue Skies, Lanatsky Route, Monic Extras, Club Taker, X-Music Redux Act 1, that'll be an interesting thing to rate, Club, True Reality, and now Forward Momentum. So yeah, and there's some edits I need to make to the tiers as well. There's some mods that are going a little lower that you'll have to see what it is. But yeah, we'll see when that happens. That is it. I hope you guys enjoyed. This has been Zero. Peace.